We are going to be taking a look at SilvanaGonzalez.com, and the goal here is to be able to go through every part of the website and understand how it basically works. Now, it won't be every single detail, but it will cover all the basics so that you should be able to get started on using your website. If you have additional questions, then you can feel free to email, text, or call us at any time. When you log into the website, then you're going to come here to the dashboard. And the dashboard is essentially useless, and so you don't need to worry about anything on this page here except for what's over here on the left side. Now, we have post as the first item that we can look at, but we're not using post on this website. They function essentially the same as what pages do though, and so we're going to start by looking at pages. Most of what you need to know for post, if you ever have a blog element added, will apply to pages as well. So we go in here and we see that we have our pages that appear on the website. Every page on here has every page on the website is right here except for the home page. The home page is controlled separately, and we're going to take a look at that here in just a bit, but every other page on the website is here. So we go into a place like children's photography, and within children's photography we see that we have this funny stuff going on right here. And the way that this works is it's called a shortcode. And so if we click preview on this, then it comes up with this slideshow just like what we want. It's very simple to insert this though. I'll show you how. We have this up here, and it's Slider Revolution Shortcode Creator. And it's a little revolution going on there. We click on that, and we select which slideshow we're wanting to use. In this case, it would be children. And then we click Add Selected Slider. You can modify it in some ways before you put it in right now. Most of your modifications will be done directly through Slider Revolution, which we will take a look at later. So we click Add, and then it shows up there just like what it did before. And it's able to appear on the page as simple as that. We have this part here that is our little headline. Interested in children's photos? I'm ready to help. And then our text beneath it. If you want to make any changes within this, it functions just like any other word processing type program. We need to open up our sync here. Oh, we already have that on, don't we? Okay, there we go. And we can see that we can make changes to the color of any of our text. We can make it so that we have items linked within it. Click a little link button, and we can link it to wherever we want to. We can make it so that things are bold, just like what you would on any other program. And it's very easy to experiment with this, and the great thing is that all we are doing right now is making changes on what is essentially a draft then, and so you can click preview changes at any time and see what it would look like, see if it matches what you're wanting to have happen on your page. All those changes are here, but they're not live on the website. It's just a preview. Once you are satisfied with the changes you've made, then you click update, and then it will become live. Now, most of the other things on the page here really aren't things that you need to worry about too much. You can adjust your SEO settings on here. So what appears for this page on Google, you can change it right here if you want to get into that. We have some layout settings that you wouldn't want to be messing with. Revolution options, probably not. Scripts, probably not either. Everything else should be mostly okay. You can make basic changes within here. Now, if you want to add some images into this section, and you decide that the slideshow is not sufficient, then you can click Add Media, and you go into here. And these are images that are already uploaded, and you can select any of them, and it's simple enough. You just click Insert on Page. You can change some options here, make it align to the left, center, right. You can make it link to a particular URL if you want to, or you can make it link to the file itself, and you can choose what size you want it to be. We insert it in there. It's there in the center. If you want to make more changes to it, you can still always come back in here, click on that little edit button, and we can change it to some custom size if we want to, add a caption, make it link somewhere else. We click preview, and then we come over here to this page, and we can see that it has appeared basically as we wanted it to be, although it's not in the center. So let's try clicking Align Center instead of No Aligning. There we go. Now it's where we want it to be. But again, none of this is live, and so you don't need to be concerned about that. We're not using featured images on this site, and so then you don't need to worry about setting a featured image right now. Wouldn't be much of an advantage of doing so at this point. If you want to add a new page, you simply click Add New. We're going to leave this. And up here at the top it says Enter Title here, and you enter the new page title right there. Down here you can enter in all the information you want to have on the page, including adding images, writing up text, and you can add forms as well by clicking Forms. And right now we just have the one inquiry form. That's our main contact type form. But we can have new forms if you want to. If there's some other element you're wanting to discover, we're going to take a look at how to create and edit forms here soon. Once you're ready to make it live, you simply click Publish. But we don't really want that, so we're going to move this one to the trash. And it's gone. And that is how you work with pages. Now we are going to take a look at forms. And so we click on Forms here, and we are just going to take a look at the form that is already created. We have first name, last name. We have a question here of what they're interested in, which category. And we have each one of these available on here. If you want to add another category, then you click plus and you can have another category. Or if you decide you want to delete one of these, you can easily just click the minus button and then it's gone. We have an option here to get in touch through email or phone. And the reason why we have the option rather than just having them both on there is we want to shorten up the form in any way that we can. And so then once we click on email down here, then it pops up with a box to put an email, or phone. We can put in our phone number right there. If we want to add new fields to this, then over here we have them. Drop-down menu, radio buttons, check boxes, multi-select. If you just want to have someone type in information in a box, you can do that. Under advanced fields, then we have name, date, address, phone, email. Any of these things can go over there. It's very simple. You click, you drag, it's where you want it to be. You click on the little arrow, you can make changes within that, make it required, enable email confirmation. You can have advanced settings with conditional logic here, where you say if they say that they're interested in model photography, then this pops up, and otherwise then we don't have it show up at all. And once you're ready to make those changes live, then you click Update Form. We're not going to do that because we don't need to make any real changes here. Under Form Settings, then you can make some more general changes to the form, and you can have it, right now it says Let's Do It, for instance, rather than Submit. It's generally better for getting real action to happen if you don't have the word submit within a form. And you can make a few other changes as well. And we have confirmations here. Excuse this notification. And right now it just says, thanks for contacting us. We will get in touch with you shortly. You might want to change that to something a little bit more, more personal, something that reflects what you would say to a person after they've completed this. You can make changes just like you did with the pages. It's very simple to do. We have notifications down here, and right now this is set up, I guess it's actually set up to be sent to me right now, but we can make sure we change that over to your email address, get you set up to be receiving those emails from inquiries. Hopefully you'll be getting a lot of those. If you want to make changes to how that's formatted, you can do it here. Make changes, what the email is listed as being from. We can add in the name here. We might as well. In fact, for the from email, we might as well make it from that person. That way you know that it's not me or someone else sending it. Go ahead and update that. Come over here to entries. Then right now there are no entries. Once there are, they will show up here. So if you don't notice the email that comes through about it, then you can check in here at any time and they'll be saved here. You can look through all of them once they are here, and you should be good to go. There are some other settings for gravity forms over here on the side. None of them are areas that you need to be too concerned about. If you ever have the gumption, then you can go through and take a look at them a little closer. If you have questions or concerns about any of it, then you can always check in with us and we'll be happy to help out with them. Now as we move down, we have a comments section, but we're not using comments on this website. And we have this section here called Genesis, and there really shouldn't be a reason that you would ever need to be worrying about this section here. You're welcome to explore any of these things, and if you ever have it come about that you are exploring, messing around, find that something doesn't go quite how you want, then we have backups of the site, and so we should be able to get that fixed up for you without too much trouble. Under Appearance, then we don't need to be concerned about themes or customize, but then we get down to Widget. This controls the home page. It also controls the footer down here that says Contact Us at the bottom of every page, and the Connect With Me part down here. So, and I guess that actually on this one it controls the menu up at the top as well. So we have our custom menu set here in the header right section. Even though it says right, it's really just the whole header area up here. And we have it so that then there'd be the main menu up there, and it shows everywhere. Shouldn't be anything you ever need to do on that directly. For primary sidebar, then we have a Contact Us form, but I'm not sure that we are using that right now. No, we don't have the sidebar activated anywhere. If you ever find that you're going to be using a sidebar off to the right side on a page, then it will be there and available. There was an iteration of this website where that was being used. We'll just leave it there for now. It doesn't do any harm leaving it there. But right now we're not taking advantage of that. Secondary sidebar we're not using. The home-top is controlling what goes on the home page here. And so we have this slideshow across, and we have selected Home Simple as our... Now we're going to be taking a look at widgets. And when we come into widgets here, we see that we have the menu, and it controls the menu that's up at the top of the page here. And it's only controlling it in the sense that it makes it appear there. You don't make any adjustments directly to the menu through this part right here. And for our primary sidebar, then we have a Contact Us section, and it's the form from Gravity Forms that we looked at a moment ago. And it shows up at the bottom of every page. And many WordPress installations, and you're going to have the primary sidebar go off to the right. In this case, we put it down at the bottom per your request, and I think it works well for this website. And we can make changes to it as far as which page it appears on. And so then we have this widget context where we have it hidden on the contact page, the /contact, see there? So if you ever want to exclude it from a page, then you go to that page and you just copy the little end part of the address, paste it in there, and it won't show up on that page anymore, or you can make it so that it doesn't show up on certain kinds of pages. But we've excluded it from there because you don't need to have a Contact Us form at the bottom of a contact page with the same form already there. As we go down, we see that we have home-top, and this goes with the home page, as the name would imply, and it's at the top also, as the name would imply. And all we're doing here is saying that we want the home slider to show up in that spot at the top, and it does. If you ever want to make a change to have a different slider show up there, you could. You could select a different one and it would show up there. Once you make a change, you click Save and it becomes live. Nothing in home-middle. Home-bottom, we have this image of what I assume is you. I haven't met you, but it's the image that I received. And down here we have your description. You make changes to the text here. And you probably want to stick to something that is relatively similar in length in your description. It's fine to change it, and if you want to make it significantly shorter or significantly longer, then that's fine. It might cause a problem with exactly how everything lays out on the page, and if you notice that there is some problem, then you can always ask us and we can help work that out for you. And off to the right side on this home page, over here, then we have a Contact Us section, and then it is a form that we created in Gravity Forms, and we've already taken a look at that. We don't have anything in subfooter left or subfooter right. In footer 1, this shows up at the bottom of every single page, and it says Connect With Me, and we have some social icons and some copyright information. And we have the address for the Facebook page. We don't have an Instagram or Pinterest or Twitter link here right now, so we need to check it out and find out what's going on with that. This is some basic copyright information. And we don't have anything else in these other sections, but we could add something there at some time, but right now that's not something that we're using. So that's the widgets section. If you ever want to add something more from over on this left side, you want to add a new section on your page, then you could do so, and it might not necessarily be formatted to work instantly, but you just drag them over, drop them in, and then make whatever changes you want to make to them. Now we're going to take a look at menus, and the menu is controlled from this right here, and it's fairly intuitive. Over on the left side here, then you can look at what you have available as pages on your website or posts, which we're not using posts right now, so you wouldn't do that. You can also type in your own link, and then you can insert it, and then you click Add to Menu. This doesn't become live instantly. You'd have to click Save Menu for it to become live. You can drag this up wherever you want, or you can make it a submenu by having it over here. We're not using submenus right now. There we everything is just the primary menu as it's set up at this time. Whenever you want to make it live, though, like we said, you click Save, and it happens here on the website. And you don't need to check any of these boxes right now. They're unnecessary for what we are doing. And that is the only menu that we have available. And so we're not using anything else. We have it appear only at the top, and it's the only one that we're using. So there shouldn't be any more complication to it at this time. If you ever have any difficulties with it, of course, you can still always check in with us. We have plugins over here, and these are basic components of the website that give it an additional power, additional functionality. So we have gravity forms, and we've looked at that already. We have insanity. It makes it so that we don't end up getting images that are so large on the website that they would slow it down to a point of being unusable, and so then it lowers the resolution of the image just a bit and lowers the quality just a bit. Again, very, very little, but it's enough to be able to make the difference so that we don't have problems with it loading images that are entirely too large for the site. And you can go to the settings of that at any time. If you're not satisfied with what it's doing, you can make changes to it so that it will fit whatever your needs are. But we do want to make sure we're keeping the website at a point where it's loading quickly enough to avoid having such slow load times for certain users that then they are unable to access your information at all. I have a few other plugins down here. If you want to add new plugins, there are a million plugins. I'm sure it is some number like that actually in reality. And there are many, many, many plugins that you can search for, and much more than these 6 that are showing up as recommended ones or featured ones here. And so you can look through that on your own if you want. Some of them are going to be really good, some of them are not so good. And so if you're wanting to add more functionality to your site in some way by using a plugin, we would love it if you would check in with us, and we can give you advice most of the time on what works best. And it's not required, you can do what you want, it's your website, but if you run it past us, I think you'll end up in a better place, and we can make sure that you end up with plugins that work well with what we have done here, and that they make sure they achieve your goals. Over here you have editor, and you never want to go on that. You also don't want to click on editor over here. Those are areas where you can get in trouble. Of course, if anything goes wrong with the website, we can bring it back from a saved backup, but it's easier if we don't ever have that problem. So under users here, then we have these 3 users. I'm not entirely sure why we have 2 Meg F6s right now. We'll get you set up with username too, though. But we'll get rid of one of these, whichever one I'm not logged in as right now. So if you want to add a new user at any time, though, then you type in the username here, and you type in the email address, and the name, and you don't really need to type in the website. And then you can show the password here, and it has an automatically generated password that is more secure. You can type in your own, though, and you can type in simple pass, and it says it's weak. I don't know, actually I didn't do that quite right, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And it says it's weak, and then you have to click here to confirm the use of a weak password. But you don't want to do that. You want to protect your site, and so use the one that they already have, or come up with a complex password that is going to be secure for us. It's going to make sure your site doesn't get hacked. It's very important. Also, don't pick a username that's going to be easily hackable, so don't choose the name of the website, Silvana Gonzalez, as the username. Don't choose admin. Choose something that's a little bit more unique than that, and it's going to help us make sure the website stays secure. Under tools, there really aren't any available tools. It's a misnomer. Under settings, then there are a few things you can do here. Most of them aren't terribly important, but we will take a look at this real quick. Let's actually change this over to something a little different. Silvana Gonzalez photography, and then we'll just type in beautiful photos right now. You can type in whatever you want there, though, as your tagline, and it doesn't show up that often. It will show up if you hover over that, but most of the time it's not going to be a relevant part of things. Email address as the default one for the website is Kenny@MegaPhoneDesigns. Not the right spelling there. Kenny@MegaPhoneDesigns.com. But we can change that over to your name if you were to want to. It's really only for notifications regarding more technical oriented things though. And there are sometimes when it comes up otherwise. Most of the time that's how it is. A few other settings you can have here, nothing too terribly important. We have writing, and none of that should be relevant. Under reading, then we have settings that would only apply if you have posts. Discussion are related to comments, which we're not using on the website. Media, then this sets the size of thumbnails. You probably don't want to change those. That could have some other ramifications on the website. Permalinks sets it so that it has the structure of website name / sample - post, so otherwise it might be a random number for each page, but you want it to be a name for each page, and so we keep it like that. And this was our insanity that we already looked at a moment ago. With widget context, then there's nothing really here that you want to change either. But now, we move on to slider evolution, and this is highly relevant for your site, the most important thing we're going to be looking at. Let's take a look at our children's one here. We can do that, and that will be the easiest one to take a look at. We were already looking at the children's page earlier. These are ones that I've deactivated. They were originally part of the slideshow, but I deactivated them rather than deleting them just to make sure at the time we weren't entirely sure which direction you were going to go, and so we just deactivated them, but they can be deleted later if you so choose. But they're not showing up on the page, and so it makes no difference at this moment. We are going to click on this one here that is a live slide. And it's a beautiful image of children there, or an image of beautiful children, maybe both. If you ever want to change what's in the background there, you can come over here and choose whatever you want. Click Insert. And if you ever need to add new images, I believe I forgot to mention this earlier, you just go over here and you click Upload Images, and then you select what images you want to upload. So now we have this new image on that spot. This is not live, of course. This is only on our preview here. If we ever click Save, though, it will become live. So we don't want to do that. And we can make changes, though, within this. If we ever find that we want to insert something else on the page, then we can. We can add text to the page. That doesn't seem to be the direction that we've gone with the website, but I want you to be able to know just the basics of this anyway, just in case. And of course you can always come to us and we will help you out and help you learn to do whatever you need to do. But it does make it nice and simple only having the text on the page. And you can make any changes you need to make here. Pretty basic things that you can do here with the text. You can make it so that this goes in the very center of the page. You can make changes with it that make it animate so that it comes in and out. And so right now it's just set to fade, but we can choose one of these other nice, fun options. You can choose whether it's visible on every level of device, on desktops and laptops, tablets, and mobile devices. We have behaviors, actions, attributes. We can link it up to something, and some more specific elements to do with parallax. Down here we have the animation sequence, so if you have several different elements coming onto the page and you can control them there. Probably none of those things are too terribly interesting to you. That's not really what you've aimed for on this site, so we won't spend too much more time on them right now. This is where you change the image. It does matter where it says here the source settings, because you'll find that there are times when you don't want it to be positioned exactly as it's positioned. In this case, actually, that looks just about right, but let's say that we are going to be wanting to have it in a different place. Well, it's simple enough to change this to a different percentage right there, and you can move it up and down. And in this case, you can see a lot less difference than on most images. So let's go to a different one, and we can see that play out a little more clearly, I believe. Hopefully, this will be an example of one that makes more of a difference. Yeah, okay. So we have it set to 15 right here. And so if we set that to 90, then all we get are his buttons. Or if we go by the default, what it comes in as default is center center. And that's not at all where we want our image to show up. So you need to go over here to these XY percentages, and then you can adjust it as you please and make sure that it lines up just as you want it to. We also have this part here where parallax is deactivated. Don't worry about it. It's not something we needed to do on this particular one. And on the Ken Burns, if you ever want it to be that it kind of zooms in and out as you go from one slide, as you go through the slide, then you can do that here. And you can fiddle with these numbers, and it can give it a cool effect if that's what you want. But again, That's not what you've gone for on this site, and that's fine. Looks like we'd have to click save before it's actually going to show us what that would do as far as the movement. But you can explore all these things on here. For the most part though, what you're wanting to do here right now is you're just wanting to be adding in new images as you please. So you want to add in a new image, all you do, you add a blank slide, click main/background image, you choose what you want to have as your slide, you insert it, and then you're really mostly good to go at that time. If it doesn't look right, make changes here. This one looks right anyway. It doesn't even want to move at all because it's exactly the shape that we need right there. But when you're ready to publish it, you click save. If you find out that if you decide you don't want this to be an active slide, you can click on this little red thing and it'll make it deactivate, or on the green thing and it will make it live again. Up here I can make this one live again if I wanted to. I'm not going to keep this slide though, because we already have that slide in the show. There's some general settings you can change for the slideshow up here, and you can explore these in more depth, but as you go through, most of them are fairly intuitive what they are talking about. And so we have some control over the arrows, what they appear like. We have control over some default elements, whether we have a progress bar on there or not, and we have it set up so that it will not do any lazy loading, but we need it to be doing that. So we are turning that back on. Save. If you ever want to add a new slideshow, it's simple enough to do. And when you start off here, you can click New Slider right there. And that's really all there is to Slider Revolution for you right now. If you have trouble with that, then let us know, and we'll be glad to help you out, give you advice, push you in whatever right direction we need to, or step in and help in whatever way is necessary. We want it to be that you get to a place where this website is something that you can take real ownership over, and we're happy to help out as much as we ever need to, and we will be there to support you, but we also want to equip you to be able to take advantage of this in the biggest way. We want it to be that you feel comfortable with everything on here, so if you ever have a time where you don't, then we would love to hear from you and we'll help you get to that point.